Hello and welcome to the inaugural issue of A Stitch and a Prayer. This is going to be kind of awkward, so we're going to go ahead and just put a disclaimer out there in the beginning that we're both kind of used to either talking and speaking or performing in front of a large group of people, and we're able to interact with those people and feed off their energy, so it's going to be kind of awkward to just be talking to a camera. And it may feel awkward for quite some time, so we ask for patience, a little bit of grace, and as we go through this journey together, we've decided to go ahead and make the decision that we will not edit our videos. We kind of believe that what you see is what you get, and we don't want to try to portray ourselves as something that we're not. So you're going to get all the mistakes. You're going to get all the bloopers and everything within the video. We're going to try to keep these to half an hour, 40 minutes or so on a typical basis. It may go a little long, this first one, as we introduce ourselves, tell you who we are, where we're coming from, what we enjoy, but we hope to be something just a little bit different. You may hear some dogs barking. You may hear...
Just ran upstairs.
Yep, you may hear a dog or two whining. You may hear my wife whining. I don't know. She's downstairs with my other daughter. And this person will go ahead and say who she is after I say who I am, because I haven't done that yet. My name is Brandon, and I am Dad. I am also a pastor in the United Methodist Church, which you will hear a little bit more about. But this is going to be a fiber podcast, YouTube channel, video, vlog, whatever you want to call it, mainly with a little bit of addition. But who are you?
I'm Kaylee. I'm his daughter. I'm a music therapist in the Mexico, New York School District.
Mexico, New York. Yes, that is what we said. Mexico, New York. There's going to be a lot of people who ask, where is Mexico? It's funny because I watch another podcast on YouTube, and every time they do a live broadcast, I say watching from Mexico, New York, and they kind of wonder where Mexico is, or if we were telling the truth. And I always quip back with Texas, south of Texas, New York, which is true. We are south of Texas, New York, so look it up on a map. So why another YouTube channel, vlog, podcast? Why another one? Because there are so many fiber related ones. There's so many just different related ones for anything that you can think of. Well, I think that there's something out there for everybody. I hope that what we have will inspire others to enjoy the fiber arts as we do. We both do quite a few different things, but we're also kind of adding another one of our loves that we share together, and that is music. We're both fully trained, professionally trained musicians in different ways, and we're going to try to share that every time we come to you with a new episode, but a little more on that later. So why another one? Well, we want to be a part of this community that is this fiber community that is so welcoming and a lot of times family centered, and we think the more the merrier. And we hope that this community welcomes us, and that you welcome us, and that we can just grow within it, because we both are fairly new to this, and we just want to be a big part of it. And we have a few people to thank about that, but I think Kaylee will talk a little bit more about where we came from.
So how we decided to start our first podcast. We've been watching podcasts for probably about a year, almost 2 years, and we wanted to do one but never really got started with it. In November, right after Thanksgiving, we decided to drive all the way to Arrow Acres Farm in New Jersey. About 5 hours.
That's dedication.
We drove down and back in the same day, this Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we were talking to them because we love watching their podcast. They're two sisters, so they're part of the same family, and their whole environment is pretty much as chaotic as ours is, so we relate to that quite well, and we mentioned to them that we've always wanted to start one, and they sort of tried to encourage us to start our own. And with their new to you make-along going on right now, we decided it was probably a good time to just start and jump in. So.
Yes, definitely. One of our favorites. It seems that most of the ones that we watch kind of center around just not just one person, but two people interacting off each other, and pretty much our family. And a couple others of our favorites are the Hay Sisters. We enjoy that one, and we love the Grocery Girls. And we find it amazing that we can do what we're doing and sitting and actually watch or listen for 2 hours. You know, you think I've said this to other people that you know, it's one of the podcasts we watch is actually 2 hours long, and they're like, "How can you do that?" And it's just we enjoy. There's so much content that they have, and so many things that they share, and the way they interact with each other is just is pretty awesome. And that's another reason why we like Cocktail Hour at the Coop. Just how natural it is, and how they work with each other and share with each other, and just enjoy the time that they have with one another doing something that they love. And Kaylee and I, we enjoy doing that, and we get together quite often to do this. She doesn't live at home anymore. She's actually we should have had a contest to see if anybody could guess how old you are. She is 23,
Mm-hmm.
and she is graduated from college and has started her career, and is actually engaged to be married. But her and her fiance spend a good amount of time here at our house, which is a blessing, very much so. So what do we expect when we turn on A Stitch in a Prayer? Wait a minute, before we do that, this is so important. I can't believe I almost jumped over it. The reason we're called A Stitch in a Prayer. So we asked our friends, the ladies at Cocktail Hour at the Coop, which we're so glad that we made the trip down there, because it is a blessing that we have them as friends now. So I had messaged Liz through Instagram with an idea that they have a contest to name us, because we were having a hard time coming up with a name that encompassed what we were about. So I sent, and they jumped on it. They were so happy to go ahead and kind of act like mentors of sorts with us. And so I sent them a message, sent her a message, and in it I said, okay, we're father and daughter. I'm a pastor. We're both musicians. We both love to crochet, and at that time, pretty much just crochet. What's really exciting is we can both knit now, which we'll share in just a little bit. And she sent out. They sent that out to all of their listeners. They spoke about it on one of their episodes. And we started getting some replies back. And the title that we ended up on, kind of just as soon as we heard it, it kind of just made sense and fit. We liked a lot of them. All of them were really good. But every time we went back to this one and went ahead and just said it, it just kind of fit. So, and with that, we had a contest. And we have a winner, and we have some gifts. Some prizes for that winner, which I'm going to share with you, but you have to do your job. The winner needs to come to us so we can have their address so we know where to mail it. So whether you're listening or you ladies, Liz and Leanne from Cocktail Hour, if you can get the message to them as well, and I'll try to send it to them so we can get this off to them. But we would like to share the winner of naming our YouTube channel.
Joe McGinty.
We hope and pray that when we speak of a name or a title or anything, that we're doing it properly and we're saying it right. If not, you can correct us, but mistakes happen. So what has Joe McGinty won? Well, Joe McGinty has won some yarn from Arrow Acres. It is the colorway Splash 100% baby alpaca, and that's 110 grams. So there you go. You've won some yarn from Arrow Acres. You have won Liz's pattern for her Farm Girl cowl. That will be going with the yarn. You can see it, and you're probably going to see the letters and the words backwards because we're facing the camera towards us. You have won a bag that I made, a project bag. It's a smaller one. You can definitely fit socks in there. You might be able to fit a small shawl in there. But that project bag, it's got a zipper and a lining and everything. And yes, I made that. I also sew. And you have a hand-printed bag that Liz did from Arrow Acres as well. And
I'm adding some chapstick that me and my mom just made today. It's made with like beeswax and coconut oil and Young Living essential oils. You can use it for chapstick, but you can also use it just as like a moisturizer. You can keep it in your project bag and use it on your hands if they get dry too. So you can really use this anywhere. It's lemon and spearmint.
Lemon and spearmint. So we are going to put these all together, and they will all be going to you as soon as we get your contact info. There we go. Outstanding.
I'm going to write our Instagram names.
You will. There's that. So what to expect when you turn on a stitch and a prayer? Well, the first thing you expect is a hello, of course, a greeting, a good day, how you doing? After that, we're going to do a what's in the cup. Both of us really enjoy a good hot beverage, and we usually have one with us. I'm more of a coffee drinker, and Kaylee is a...
I drink tea.
I
will drink iced coffee. Probably.
Sorry, iced coffee drinkers out there. I'm not an iced coffee drinker.
I don't drink coffee fast enough.
I will if it's frozen, like the slushy, but I don't like just the liquid, the drink iced coffee, but I do really enjoy. And we're going to try, at least I'm going to try to focus on local roasters that are in the central New York area. We actually have quite a few roasters in Syracuse, Rochester, up into the Adirondacks and down into the Finger Lakes. And so I believe that if I did one a month, we could probably go for 3 or 4 years doing a different one, which is a good excuse for me to get different coffee every month. I always need a good excuse when asking the wife for money.
I'm just going to hate that you said that.
All right, that probably got me in trouble, but that's okay. That's okay. So that's the first thing that you probably will probably do is what's in the cup. What will we do next, Kaylee?
I'm just going to skip that. Next will be FOs and whips.
Kind of like usual, the typical fiber YouTube channel, your FOs and whips. But we also both sew, right?
Yes. I just started. Sorry, I'm writing our Instagram names.
And why did you just start?
My dad taught me. He stopped making me bags.
Exactly.
So I make my own.
That way we don't have to what? We don't have to buy them. We can make them ourselves, right? So we'll share anything we've been sewing. I also quilt. So if I've got a quilt going, I'll share that. But we'll do your normal finished objects. I have to say this first time when we get to that point, we both don't really have a lot of finished objects because what we've been doing?
Learning how to knit.
Learning how to knit. So we have a lot of things casted on for the new to you and stuff. So we really don't have, but we'll have a lot of whips. After the FOs and whips and bags, we'll be doing stash ads, which is pretty typical for a fiber broadcast. All the new things that we get. We're both pretty on a.
We got a lot.
Yeah, this time we kind of maybe overdid it. But we're using this podcast as an excuse, which is again good on my side. I'm not going to say why because I don't need to get more in trouble than I already am. And then after stash ads,
you'll hear a song from us.
Wow, that sounded really exciting. You'll hear a song from us. As I said before, we were both trained professional musicians. We'll share a little bit more in our fiber stories and our background. And I am a pastor of a church, and we've both been church musicians most of our lives and together doing that. So we will finish every episode with an inspirational song because really we don't do anything if music isn't involved in it. So, and we hope that you guys will enjoy that. And then after that, it's the end. A goodbye. See you next time. Until next time, kind of thing. But not yet. We're just getting started. I told you this was going to be a little bit longer than the typical one because you're getting to know us. So, now that they know what to expect, I think it's what is in our cups tonight. I am sharing there's a roaster in Syracuse, New York. And again, it's going to be backwards until we do a little bit better on that. We're kind of new to this, so we're trying to adjust, but we really just want to look at ourselves while we're doing this. Because I'm a good-looking guy. What?
It's such an awkward thing to say.
I say it to myself every time I get up in the morning and look in the mirror, right? So, Recess Coffee is a roaster in Syracuse. I'm drinking Ethiopian. Again, I apologize for the pronunciation if it's wrong, but Ethiopian Harar has undertones of blueberry, cherry, and cream. Side note. Typically when they say undertones, and like when we go to the wine tours and stuff like that, and they say undertones, I never taste the undertones. I guess I just don't have a refined palate or whatever it is. But I do have to say, this does have some berry undertones in it. I don't know.
I'm drinking.
Yeah.
David's Tea Fireside Mocha. It's Mochaccino Dreams. I don't know. It tastes kind of chocolatey. A little like coffee too. It's actually almost gone.
Yeah. So you can get Recess Coffee online at recesscoffee.com. Very, very good. Funny enough, I don't usually grind my own coffee because I just have them do it there. But I didn't send. That kind of sounds rude. I asked when my wife went to which her name is April. When she went to the store, she would get me some Recess Coffee, but I wanted it ground. And she came home and I felt it, and I'm like, this is whole bean. And she goes, well, it didn't feel like whole bean. And I says, well, I don't know. So what did she do? She bought me a coffee grinder.
She works at Bed Bath & Beyond.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So now I got a coffee grinder out of it, and I'm not going back. I'm grinding my own coffee all the time. So, but recesscoffee.com. Anything that we share today, we'll go ahead and put down in the notes under, as soon as we figure out how to do that. That's the next step. But anything that we share, we'll put down in the notes, and we'll hashtag it or tag it. And hopefully those people get maybe a little bit more business from us, and they get a little more recognition for all the good stuff they do. But that's it. Recess Coffee and David's Tea. Mm-hmm. Where did you hear about David's Tea?
From the Hay Sisters. We found them like 2 weeks ago, and I binge watched from the beginning. Like 2 episodes left.
Okay, let's correct that.
What?
I've been watching Hey Sister. I shared it with you.
Oh, I thought you only started it then.
No. I didn't watch it religiously. I had seen a couple of them. There's only a few that I make sure that I watch all the time. Cocktail Hour at the Coop, Grocery Girls.
Bad Wolf Girl.
Bad Wolf Girl. You like them? I like Chevy Rell. She's kind of edgy, and I kind of like that edgy to it. She can be wacky at times, and that's exciting. I haven't watched her latest one yet where she talks about the plague, but I'm going to pretty soon. They found out what's in our cup. Mm-hmm. Fiber stories.
You start.
You want to hear them,
Yours
don't
is
you?
Longer than mine.
You want to know where we come from? We probably will share who we are and our history and stories over the whole year or so, just a little bit at a time. We will be here on here for hours. Both of us do like to talk quite a bit, and we like to share.
Get it from him.
Yes. The apple doesn't fall off the leaf, off the tree, off the branch. It doesn't fall at all because that's how close she is. Anyways, my fiber story. So, growing up, both of my parents, who I love dearly, worked very hard. We didn't have a lot growing up, so they sometimes both had more than one job. So they worked a lot, and in doing so, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother on my mother's side. On weekends, every day after school, the bus would drop me off there, and I would go inside, and she had created my own little craft corner that I would do all different kinds of crafts in. But she is the one that taught me how to crochet. And I can remember crocheting at her feet and watching Guiding Light. Yes, I will hand my man card over at any time when I share that I know Paul and Beth's story from Guiding Light quite extensively. But she taught me how to crochet. And I would go to craft fairs with her. She would have all of her stuff on a table, and she would set a little table next to hers with a little chair. And I can remember the only thing that I would ever really make is I would take those little plastic rings and I would go ahead and crochet wreaths around them and put little red beads on them for holly, and I would put pins on the back. And she would sell her stuff and I would sell my stuff, and that's what I would use for Christmas spending money. And I would do that every year for quite some time as I was younger. As I grew up, I graduated from high school, and I went into the Army as a musician in the Army band. I went to the Armed Forces School of Music in Little Creek, Virginia, and I toured with the Army band for 10 years. I went all over the world as a musician for the military. I was in Germany and toured all over there. More stories to come in the future. I was stationed in Massachusetts and toured all over New England. I was stationed in Washington State and toured all over there. This one was born in Germany. My other one that's downstairs was born in Washington State. And in 2000, April, my wife and I decided that it was time to get out and go back to where family was. And we went home. Over that time, a couple times I picked up the crochet hooks just to go ahead and see if I would do anything. I'd make a couple squares and then I'd set it down and I wouldn't do anything. A few years ago, about 3 or so years ago, I became a pastor after many years of journeys and stuff. Again, more of that to come in future. We don't want to do it all at once. I don't want to bore you. We want to keep this exciting. So hopefully you're on the edge of the seat to find out what happens next.
I'm already bored.
Nice. All right. Now you know what I have to live with. But almost just a little bit after I became a pastor, my grandmother passed away. And at the same time, I'm kind of adjusting to being a pastor. My family's adjusting to being a pastor's wife and PKs, which has its benefits and also has some shortcomings as well. I'm sure she'll share maybe sometime. Anyways, but as any pastor or anybody who is in a position like that knows that it can be very stressful sometimes taking on other people's hurts and life situations. So I was looking for something to go ahead and help de-stress, how to relieve my mind and just to relax. And just after my grandmother passed away, a lot of her stuff that she had was still around. So I decided to pick crocheting back up again. And I found that it was exactly what I needed to go ahead and to de-stress, to get my mind away, and at the same time I was being productive and making something for someone else that would enjoy it, hopefully. And so I started crocheting, and I started doing it almost every day. When my day was done, as I sat in the living room, I'd pick up the crocheting and I would do stuff, and it all came back. That muscle memory came back, and I was able to do everything my grandmother taught me plus. And one of the huge benefits that we have now is YouTube. And anything that I needed, are you going to keep looking at yourself all the time?
I don't know what else to do.
No, I'm just joking.
I'm not saying anything.
Your turn will come, and then I'll stand here and just be looking at myself.
I'm out of my teeth.
At least you haven't fixed your hair yet.
That's true. I'm not forcing your coffee into my cup.
See, now I lost my train of thought.
YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. And every time I came up to a roadblock on how to do something, do not watch what's happening behind me right now. Yeah. As I came to a roadblock on learning, I would just pick up YouTube and I'd learn, and that's where I got hooked on podcasts. And I learned that I could put a podcast on and just go ahead and just do what I was doing and listen. But everything started coming back, and I've become fairly advanced in crocheting. But the one thing that I wanted to do more than anything was to be able to knit a pair of socks. And I tried to teach myself over and over and over again how to knit. And every time it didn't click. No matter what I did, it wouldn't work. I don't know what it was, whether the cast down was too tight or just something mental or whatever. I just couldn't do it. And then we went down to Acres, and we met Liz. We weren't able to meet Leanne because she wasn't there, but the peanut gallery was there, and there was a new motivation, a new drive to go ahead and learn new things. So I can't speak for Kaylee, but when December hit, I forgot cats too. There might be some cats. There will not be any alpacas or sheep or anything like that, but dogs and cats maybe. So when December hit, yep, it's Tilly. She's very happy right now.
She doesn't look it.
Yeah. So when December hit, I decided that I was going to learn to knit no matter what. I was determined that one of my new to-use was going to be knitting socks. And so I sat down, and one of the things I hadn't done before was use larger items, use larger needles, use larger yarn, a larger weight of yarn. So I sat down with US number 15's needle, long, just straight needles, and I used Lion brand, was it Thick and Quick? Mm-hmm. And have Mommy toss up her hat and her cowl. I sat down and just casted on 40 stitches on the needles, and I just started going, and I didn't stop, and I didn't stop, and I just kept going, and finally, after a while, it clicked. And what ended up was probably my only FO that I'm going to share today. It ended up turning into a cowl that I made for my wife, which ended up turning into a cowl and hat set, and I crocheted a hat for my wife that we'll share as part of the FOs. But that is kind of my fiber story in a can. Crocheter, knitter, I sew. I love the whole process from beginning to end, from the animal to the spinning to the dyeing to just the whole thing in general is just I'm amazed by it. I'm intrigued by the whole thing altogether, and I can't wait to learn more from you. I can't wait to learn more from other people in this community, and just to go ahead and grow as a fiber artist. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm done talking. I want to drink for a minute.
Mine won't be very long. About 3-ish years ago, I asked my dad to help me learn how to crochet. Mostly because actually, Ben, my fiance, what?
I think one of the reasons is because she likes to outdo me in everything. She has this drive to be better than me in anything. And so she likes to learn all the things that I can do, and just keeps doing them until she's better than me.
It's not your turn.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Anyway, my fiance's stepmom made him a crocheted Afghan, and I would go over there and we'd be watching movies, and she would be crocheting it while it was like laying on her lap. And I'm a very cozy person. I like to be very cozy, and that just looked like the comfiest thing. Is
that what it is?
I think that's what this is. Anyway, so I asked my dad to teach me how to crochet, and that Christmas I got some stuff to learn, and he started to teach me, but making just little squares. And I told him that I wanted to make an Afghan, so he was trying to teach me by making me make little squares that I would eventually sew all together.
It's called hazing.
But none of them turned out right because I was just starting to learn how to crochet, and then one night I told him that I didn't want to do that anymore, and he just taught me how to make it just going in rows with double crochets and chain spaces, and it went so much faster, and I made 2 Afghans that way. And then at the time I was going to school, I was at Nazareth College for music therapy, so I would use it to de-stress from school, but a music therapy degree takes an awful lot, so I would run out of time, and so I would go through phases of doing a lot of crocheting and then doing none. And then I had to do an internship, and I was at a school, which took a lot of time, but my evenings were free, which is when I started watching podcasts, and I would use that to de-stress. I worked with some medically frail students, so I would sometimes need that, and some kids with some behavioral challenges, so I needed a way to de-stress, so I would work on that a lot. I also really wanted to learn how to knit socks.
Socks is the thing. Huh?
Yeah, separate from him. So I started around Christmas learning how to knit socks as well. And that's about my fiber story. It's not very long.
That's nice, though. It's nice. Brief can be nice sometimes. So we'll be sharing a lot more of our life story, just so you can get to know us more as the year goes on. We actually have quite a few interesting stories from all over the place. And we'd like to travel a lot as a family. That's when Benjamin, her fiance, kind of joined the family. He didn't really know what it meant by joining the family. We tend to do everything together.
He knows now.
He does know. He has been broken in.
We've been together for like 8 years.
Yeah. Well, even right from the very beginning, we pretty much. My daughter works at Barnes & Noble. We go to pick her up at work together. Yeah, the other one works at Barnes & Noble. She's a very big reader. She watches the bookish kind of YouTube channels and stuff. We've been trying to get her to go ahead and start one, but that's not her bag. So that's okay, though. But we even go to pick her up at work together.
We don't like being alone.
We have some attachment issues. If Kaylee hasn't called or stopped by, mentioning that this one, 4 years of college.
5 with an internship. 5 years in Rochester.
Even afterwards, almost every night she called. Every night. My wife and myself do not know what empty nest means. But we don't mind that. We enjoy it. So that is our fiber stories in a bag. As I said, we'll share more of our life stories as the year goes on, and you get to learn more because there's quite a few things. But let's get into the beef of what Fibercast is. The FOs, the whips, the stash ads, and we'll get through that and get to the song because that's really what is in our blood. Kind of fiber, this whole thing is our passion, but music is actually a part of who we are. And we hope that you get to see that quite a bit. So I did a lot of talking, so I'm going to let you go first. So if you want to do, we can alternate. You can do your FOs, and I'll do my FOs. Then you can do your whips, and I'll do my whips. Okay. And both of my wife and her fiance, they're trying to learn the terminology and to be able to speak.
He's pretty good at it.
He is.
He's very interested.
He is a chronic mansplainer, and I am too sometimes too. But so your FO. Let's get moving here.
Well, I'm wearing. It's not. It probably shouldn't count. I made this like a year ago.
Okay, so that can be. What are you wearing, Kaylee?
I'm wearing a triangle scarf that I made. It was just a very generic pattern that I just sort of continued on. I mean, they're just like little double crocheted squares. It's quite long, actually.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
I don't remember. It's the. I don't know, I got the yarn at Joann's. I don't remember what it's called. It's not the Hygge yarn. It's the one that's always next to it, though.
Yeah, we go to Joann's like on a weekly basis. We only have really one local yarn store here in Syracuse. There is another small one called the Yarn Cupboard, I believe.
So that's 40 minutes away. So.
Yeah, Knitty Gritty is in Syracuse also, but that's 40 minutes away almost as well. So we tend to just either order all of our stuff online from other indie dyers and stuff, or we'll go to Joann's because they have good sales. Coupons are a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Next, I did this for the New to You 2020, that cocktail I was doing. It's a crocheted hat with a little bit of mini color work in there. I sort of, I looked up how to change colors in crochet to make this little thing. Yeah. And then I just sort of did my own patterning. The inside, I need to cut the strings a little bit.
Oh, don't show me inside.
I don't care. This I think was a kit of like little minis, like a Fair Isle kit, which is cool. And then the pom-pom is just from Joann's.
Cool beans.
And then this is my only knitted one. I still need to tie in my end on this one. I didn't have finishing needles when I finished this. I do now, but it's still here.
This is what you. This was the first thing you knitted, though, right?
Yeah.
This is how you learned. You taught yourself.
Yeah, I don't like. Oh, there's a lady back in here. I don't like knitting or crocheting when there isn't like a project that is being done. I don't know. I'm not good at just practicing just to practice. So I made a little cowl, a little twisted cowl out of it, which is nice. These are just knit stitches. I didn't learn how to purl on this. This might be my crochet one. It's fine. I just started knitting. No, it is. This is my knit one.
Okay.
I make crochet cowls.
And we're not editing that out.
Too.
We're not editing that out. So is that it for your FOs?
My knitting and sewing ones. All my other ones have projects in them.
So as I said, we don't have a lot of FOs because as soon as we learn to knit, and we're going to try to keep it for just the month. Since these episodes are going to be a month apart, we're only going to do once a month. We're only going to be sharing what has happened within a month, not anything that's outside of it. So I really don't have a lot. I've only really got a set to share with you because I've casted on quite a bit of stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff that is just works in progress that I'll share. But as I said earlier, to teach myself to knit, I just started with 40 stitches on number 15s, and it was only going to be like a swatch or just a square, but I just kept going. And then I said, well, you know what, I don't want this just to be nothing, so I decided to go ahead and turn it into a cowl for my wife. So, and it's just garter stitch all the way around. I ended up, it was a lot wider than this. This is probably only 20 stitches there, so it was twice the size, and I went ahead and just whip stitched it around the bottom and then added a button. And so we have a nice cowl for my wife. So, and it's nice and squishy. I like how knitting is so much squishier than crochet. I do love to crochet. I just, there's something about just the different types of stitches and stuff with crochet, and I do love doing that. But I do like how squishy knitting is, and how nice garments and stuff feel that are knitted. So I didn't want to stop there because I still had yarn left over. So since I was still a beginning knitter, I decided to go ahead and crochet a hat for her. So it's just a front post kind of ribbed hat. And then I made a pom-pom. This is a pom-pom I made out of, I think it's Lion Brand, the faux fur. Gopher faux. Yeah. So I made a pom-pom out of that, and that's all nice and soft and squishy. But those are that's my only finished object. I'm hoping to have a whole lot of finished objects for the next episode, because I'm going to share those, the whips, in just a minute. So, whips, your works that you're working on?
I'm going to start with my crocheted one.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't posted this one for the new to you yet, but I'm going to.
Most of these are for the new to you, so
yeah.
We're hoping to win because we're doing a lot of entries here.
I started a Grafgan, a crocheted Grafgan. This is just using red heart. I'm going to wash it to make it softer. But it's going to be a deer at the end. It's my first corner to corner and my first Grafgan. I have
you can see the legs in
the
there,
two back legs, and then this is the two front legs together. They cross. I just got the graph off of Pinterest. It was a very generic graph that I found. And then
you said this corner to corner.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add fleece to the back, so I don't have to worry about all of the strings, and so it's a little cozier.
Neither of us really like to tie in our ends, so I did an Afghan.
It's kind of bad. I'll show it. I don't care.
Yeah, I did an Afghan quite a while ago. That wasn't corner to corner, but it was large squares with lots of different colors, and that's all I did. I just did a fleece backing for it, so I could hide that all in there, and it actually is, with the fleece back, it's nice and soft.
I'm kind of wishing I had started with a pillow because I want to see it done, but it's quite large. It's gonna fit on our bed.
We really don't have commitment issues.
Oh,
you know.
I don't.
Although when we get to the socks, we both have ripped out quite a few socks, I think. So.
Mine are sadder. I've ripped out 2.
So. But what are you tucking that into?
Oh. 1 second. Didn't fit through. I made...
Next time we'll get you a big one.
No, I need to make a bigger one. There we go. A drawstring bag.
Yeah.
Just with fabric from Walmart. I have a cute little pin on there.
It's a smaller drawstring that we make. We do a whole bunch of. So we have like 3 or 4 different types of bags that we make, and this is the smaller drawstring one. All custom. We do them from any style fabric.
I'm also making a baby blanket. This was the first thing after the cowl that I cast on. This is kind of slow going, but it's just a baby blanket. What?
Watch your needles.
Oh, sorry. These are Knitter's Pride. So it's supposed to be ribbed, but it was the first time I was ribbing anything, and I'm not super great at the counting. Well, I wasn't. I got much better at it. Practiced a lot since
We're
then.
Musicians. We don't count higher than 8.
Okay, but this is just 2 by 2. I have a very short attention span. I'd finish one rib and then forget what I had just done. And I wasn't good at figuring out what the stitches looked like yet. And this is just with Stitch Studio, so. But it's nice. It'll be really nice. It's really soft. For a baby blanket. There are no babies in the family. But that'll probably get done when there is one. It's gonna take a while.
There's no babies yet.
It's gonna take a while.
I have stated that I am ready to be a grandfather. I'm ready for a little one, but
Many times. I'm not married yet.
Not too soon. Not too soon.
This one is in. I made this one. This is the first bag that I made. This little. I'm gonna get closer. There's cute little campfires on it. And I have my fiance's sock in there. This is the 3rd sock that I cast on.
Lots of trial and error for both of us. But I think we're there.
No, this is the 4th. No, this is the 3rd. This is the 3rd sock I cast on.
All right.
I think it's fine. I like it. I don't like double pointed needles.
That's kind of a debate between the two of us because
I'm
DPNs is the only thing that makes sense to me. So
I'm much slower.
Although I think we both failed miserably with Magic Loop. So
yeah, I tried and I failed. But I mean, it's coming on. Like I can do it fine and it makes sense to me now, but I'm really slow. This I got this yarn. Can't remember who dyed it, but it's called His Flannel. And I got it at a yarn store in Rochester called something.
We'll put it in the notes under it.
What is it called? The Black Purl, right?
Yes, it was. The Black Purl.
I think it's the Black Purl in Rochester. And I got it because it's the colors of the flannel that I stole from my fiance when we first started dating.
So,
I still have.
not Black Pearl as in Black Pearl from,
No.
But Pearl as knit. Pearl.
Yes. So like that. And these are going to be his.
All right.
I got one more.
One more?
One more. That's it.
Cool beans.
And this one is in this bag that I made. These cute little flowers. A cute little pin from Hobby Lobby. This one is my 4th sock that I cast on. This one finally is going to fit. I have trouble when I get to the heels, but I think I now know why. So, and I like it. It has a nice rib at the top. You sort of see. And this is Threadhead Knits Co. that we got at Knitty Gritty in Syracuse. It's called Crybaby. It was a sock set, so it came in the little yellow mini. It's the Crybaby colorway. It's got a lot of different colors, some pinks and yellows. Very squishy. Normally I have these on my 9-inch Chow Goose. I prefer 9-inch, but I have really tiny hands.
Mine are big and chubby, so I do not think that 9. She's trying to get me to try the 9-inch circs, but
It's so much faster for me.
I know, but my hands are too big and chubby.
I started these after Ben's socks, and I knit them during church while he preaches.
Nice. I give her a test afterwards.
I pass.
That's all your FOs?
That's my whips.
Oh, your whips, yes. All your whips.
And
Look
my
at that.
FOs.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so I'm going to try to breeze through these quickly because we are getting a little long, but I want to make sure I share all the hard work. So I'm going to start with my crocheting, and so I have two crochet things on. The first is not in that bag either.
Need a mug warmer.
Need a mug warmer, yes. Like our friend on Bad Wolf Girl, yeah. So
cool.
I'm working on a shawl right now. This is called the This Is Me shawl. I'm not sure who wrote it, who came up with the pattern, but I can share that in the notes. We'll look it up and share it. And hopefully, because I'm in the learning process of the editing too, so when I do this, we're not going to cut anything out, but I am going to try to throw some text up on the screen every time. So yeah, I'm going to use iMovie but I'm going to show this up here. So this is a crocheted shawl, and it's just a repeat. Every stripe is the same. It's a repeated pattern over each stripe. And this is, I used yarn from, nope, not Chelsea. This is yarn from Purl Soho from our trip into New York City. Yes. And this is linen quill. 50% fine Highland wool and 35% alpaca and 15% linen. And it is nice and soft. And what's special about this is my younger daughter never wants anything that I make. She's pretty finicky about what she puts on and what touches her skin.
She's a shopaholic.
She is.
But a minimalist, so I get all of her leftovers.
That's kind of like an oxymoron, isn't it? Shopaholic, but a minimalist. But she saw me crocheting it, and now that I've gotten this far, and she really likes it, and she wants it. So guess who's going to get it? She's going to get it. And then eventually Kaylee will probably get it because she doesn't keep anything too long.
Or my mom.
Or her mom, yeah. So one of them. So that's one crocheted item. This other one, nope, that's not it.
It's not prepared.
I'm not prepared. This one is actually one I've been working on for a while, and I'm just using a Lion brand, one of their cakes, mandala cakes. And this is actually Tunisian crocheted. And I use a cable to go ahead and do it. And it's just a basic Tunisian stitch. And I've been working on this one for a little bit at a time for a while because it is kind of slow moving. But this is what I was trying to do to faux knit. Now, what do I mean by faux knit? Because I could not figure out how to knit, but I wanted something that looked close to knitting. And Tunisian crochet kind of does that. So this was my attempt at looking like I could knit, which was a poor attempt.
All right, so that's crochet. Of Tunisian hooks, but I haven't. I have 2 sets of Tunisian hooks, but I haven't done anything with them.
So, and I, as I said, I'm using a cable for those, because, and it's nice with the larger stuff. So the first thing that I did after I finished the FO that I shared, the cowl, is I cast it on, and I'm using this as a learning tool. Doesn't it feel good?
I like the spaces.
Yeah. So what I'm using this is just to learn different things.
I'll take this.
You'll take that? That's fine, because I probably won't look good in it. But I just, there's a lot of garter stitch. I decided to do some stockinette every once in a while, and then once that looked good, I decided to keep that as a pattern. Then I started just doing some basic color changes and adding that. I've got another yarn that I'm going to use to do even past this, and I'm calling it my New to Me shawl, because I'm doing it for the new to you, and it's part of my getting to knit better, learn to knit better. I should write it up. Well, we'll see. If I get enough response to this and people want it, then I'll write it up. But as I said, you got a lot of garter, just a little bit of stockinette stitch every once in a while, and then color changes. But I used, when we went down to visit Arrow Acres and the ladies down there, We didn't want to waste some of the time that we had down there. I don't want to say waste the trip because they're the reason why we went down there.
We also saw the ocean.
We went down and saw the ocean. Yes, that was nice. But there's also, we decided to stop by another podcast that I like watching. I love to watch Chelsea Purls, and their shop is down. Chelsea Yarns is down there. And while we were there, we got some yarn. And I got, let's see here. We got some Luxe, Chelsea Luxe DK. This down here, I don't have any left of this because I used all of it. This is Sand Dune. That's Sand Dune. And then what I'm in now, I think, is some kind of brick. Yes, exposed brick. Exposed brick. And then I also got exposed brick in mohair. But I didn't have enough to do with a shawl, so I'm actually going to use this with another yarn that is in my stash. And I'll share that in Stash Ad. And then I have this here. We both got a Hank skein of this, and we got it while we were at the CNY Fiber Fest in Bouckville. And this is Red Tail Hawk by, I never pronounce Huga right.
Huga.
It's by Yarn Huga.
That's how us Americans pronounce it.
That's how us Americans pronounce it. Yeah. Mispronunciation. But we, us Grecos, know how to do Huga. Partly in thanks to my wife who works at Bed Bath & Beyond. You probably could cover half of Central New York in the amount of throws we have in our house from all different those UGG. She has an UGG throw that she bought herself for Christmas, and it is awesome. 2 more FOs for it, and two more whips for you. One is actually was my first attempt at socks, and just like I went ahead and tried to teach myself how to knit with a larger hook or a larger needle and a larger yarn, I tried to do the same with socks. So I just took some Lion Brand foot Ferris wheel, which is a worsted 4-ply, and I first tried to do the magic loop because everybody was saying it was so easy, and for me, massive failure many times. I probably tried like a good 8-10 times to go ahead and start.
You tried twice.
And it just didn't work. I got so frustrated. 2 nights in a row I just got frustrated and went to bed frustrated because I couldn't figure it out. And then I watched a video, and the video was Marley Bird, and she's the rep for Red Heart, and I have to tell you, her tutorial on just basic knitting of a sock, which is like a 6-part YouTube series, just using DPNs, just made complete sense to me. And so I went to Joann's and got some Clover bamboo DPNs, size 8s, which is larger, and as I said, I got Lion Brand worsted Ferris wheel, and I just started, and it clicked. Now I don't know if I'm going to finish these because they're very big. These are very big socks, and they might be even too big for me. But it's nice. It was nice in the way that I was able to learn the different parts of the sock and be able to knit them. So I have almost 1 full sock knitted.
Can you show it next to mine?
Yeah, go ahead. It's probably it's funny.
Oh wait,
it's
let me
funny.
take it off.
But that's okay. That's okay because I learned how to do the cuff and do the ribbing on the cuff, on the leg. There we go. Let's put them together. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Not that much. I'm not that smart.
Does anybody know any basketball players out there that need socks? So I'm going to finish at least this one just so I can learn the toe. But I learned how to do the heel flap and did the what's the partridge eye. I think that's what it's called.
I haven't gotten to the heel yet.
Yeah. So I learned how to do that. I learned. Is that right? Learned? Okay, it just didn't sound right to me. I learned how to do the heel turn and then the gusset, and actually I was, I don't want to talk highly about myself, but I was actually quite pleased with how that part came out. And I didn't really have any ladders, so that was awesome. And now I'm in the foot and almost to the toe, and I'll use this to teach myself how to do the toe. So on my last whip that I'm going to share, I do it right that time. So I may only do one of these. I don't know. Because I'd rather not make it and just not use it. But I am going to finish this one just so because this is kind of my learning sock. And then my last whip is my favorite right now. And that is the new sock that I cast on. And I don't have much done right now, but it is coming out pretty awesome. I might say myself. And I got 2x2 ribbing on the top.
Get it close.
Yep. And the side is, and I just got this yarn at Nitty Gritty in Syracuse. We decided to take a trip. They were having a trunk show.
During
and this
a
is
storm.
During a storm.
Winter storm.
We are a very
Not really
dedicated
for us.
pair when it comes to our fiber love. We will travel 5 hours to go to an alpaca farm in New Jersey just to visit our heroes and to get to meet them. And then we will also, if you know anything about Central New York, we are on the southeastern corner of Lake Ontario, which is known as the Snow Belt.
I can see it from my house.
Yes, and we get quite a bit of snow. We've been known to get 4 or 5 feet in one storm.
That didn't happen.
It didn't happen. But we did drive to Syracuse in a storm yesterday just to go to the trunk. Saturday. I worked yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday.
Today is Monday.
Today is Monday. Pastors really have no concept of time. But we did travel Saturday through the storm, and this is autumn rain, which I'm not quite sure why it's called autumn rain.
Today is like rainy and
Yeah.
yellow leaves.
Okay, if you say so. But it's called autumn rain, and it was also a sock set. So this also comes with yellow for the heels and the toes. So I'm hoping to have at least, because I'm slow. I'm slow. So I'm hoping to have at least one sock done before our next episode next month.
Should try 9-inch.
No, I'm really not going to try 9-inch. My hands are too chunky, and DPNs just work for me. And when it comes to knitting, I'm going to go with what works for me. So I'm hoping to have my crocheted shawl, my knitted shawl, and this at least one of these socks done for next time. That Tunisian, the Tunisian crochet one. Over time that'll get done. I just do a little bit at a time. All right, stash ads. We're going on almost an hour here, so we need to. I know, but it doesn't seem like it because I'm enjoying myself. So we're gonna go ahead and do our stash ads really quick, and that'll be it for our talking portion here. Go for it.
This one that I'm going to show is my oldest one right now. Well, not really oldest, but it's from November. From when we went to Chelsea Yarns. It is called Cranberry Cream Pie. It's like a cranberry colored. It's tweedy, and I like it a lot. I got some mohair with it too, but I used it. What? Do you want me to do all of mine?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and do all yours real quick.
Next I got some from Nitty Gritty. One of them I used in my one sock. But this one is Woolfiend, and it's called Break of Day. And it's purple and has like sort of like green and brown, almost like speckles. I'm pretty sure I saw this one at the CNY. No.
Yeah, CNY Fiber.
Oh yeah, CNY Fiber. What's the one at Beaver
Fest.
Lake?
No, Beaver Lake is CNY Fiber Frolic.
Oh, at the CNY Fiber Fest. But didn't get it.
We're
then.
pretty sure the woman who does is
from
Woolfiend
Sterling.
from Sterling, New York, which is about 40 minutes from us. We're hoping to hook up with her and maybe be able to share some more of her yarn on here. We like to help our local
it's
business
called
people.
The Break of Day. It's sock yarn, and it's $75.25. Superwash merino nylon. I've been into the mystery boxes and stuff like that's been happening. So I got one from Yarn Baby. This one's called Super, and it's sock. It's pretty fun. So I might make Ben socks out of this because green is his favorite color, so he'd like that. It's $75.25 merino and nylon, and orange. He likes orange too. Green and yellow is the Brazil soccer team colors, and he used to watch them all the time.
That's good to know.
I got some mystery minis from Farm Girl Fibers. They didn't come with tags, so I don't know what they're called, what their colorways are, but they're little sock minis, which is cool. This one's a nice blue. This one I'll probably use at some point for Ben. He's going to SUNY Oswego right now to become a math teacher, and these are the SUNY Oswego colors. Green and yellow. So that's pretty perfect. I'm going to use this one for the socks that I'm making right now.
For the toes and heels?
Yes, yeah. Heels and toes.
Head, shoulders, heels and toes, heels and toes.
And then my knit crate ones, do you have those too?
Yeah, so you can just show your knit crate ones. We both got, we both joined knit crate in the past 2 months. We've gone, so one's December and one's January.
This one's from December, which is nice. We each got, I like to be surprised, and I'm not super picky with my colors, so I did the one where they send just a random, what are they, like category, each month. But, so we traded them, so we each have one of each, because they're both really pretty. This one is mistletoe, which is a green, and this one is mittens, which I think is really cute. It was Vida Lana this month, or in December, was the dyer for this one.
And I'm fairly new. I mean, I know quite a bit about yarn, but I'm still learning. And this really isn't like a spun yarn. I don't know. If
like
someone wants to
braided.
send in, it's almost kind of like braided of sorts. So if someone can just write down in the comments, you might be able to go ahead and help me with that just a little bit. We saw something like this at Knitty Gritty Saturday too.
It's like ladybug flying around. And then this one, this is from January. Everybody should have gotten theirs, but just in case.
If you get knit crate and you haven't got your January box, turn away for just for a moment.
Brooklyn Boy Knits did this month's, which is really pretty. They're blues. We got the same ones this time. This one is called Empire, just different blues, light and dark blues. And then this one is Royal Court, and it's like turquoisey blue and gray and purple. And then I just got some fabric. I just started sewing, I think on Wednesday, less than a week ago.
She's doing great.
Thanks. But I got some pretty fabric at Walmart. I got this yesterday.
Those are gonna be bags.
When we all went to drop my sister off at work.
See, we all do everything together.
And then I got this Winnie the Pooh. And I don't know what I'm gonna make out of this yet. I want it to be baby something. But there aren't any babies yet, so I can wait. Winnie the Pooh.
All right.
Ben really liked Winnie the Pooh growing up, so.
So you're done with yours. I'm not gonna do. I have mine, but they're not that many. I have the same ones of knit crate as Kaylee does, so I don't need to redo those again. You saw those. So I have a few. Kaylee got me a mixed. What was it? A mystery color. A mystery color from one of our other favorites that we like to watch, Bad Wolf Girl.
It's the first one I watched.
Yeah, and we enjoy watching her quite a bit. So she, her mystery one, and this is.
Felicis.
And I love how Dyers are inspired by different things, and she likes Harry Potter, a lot of the same stuff that we like. But Felicis, and this is what, this is what Kaylee got me. And
full disclosure, I was gonna have one of them. I didn't know they were gonna be the same.
Oh, nice. So if there was two different color ones, she wasn't going to go ahead and she gave them. But this is what I'm going to use the mohair that I got from Chelsea Yarns. I'm going to use that with this and probably do a cowl or something, or a hat or something like that. Our trip down to Arrow Acres, while we were down there, I got a couple skeins of their farm yarn. Couple different ones.
You have the things that show what animals?
I do. Yes, I do have one of them. And what's awesome is when they give you, when you buy their farm yarn, you get to see which alpacas they came from.
Open it.
Go ahead, you can open it. But I think that might be it for stash stuff.
That one was Willie Stone. What's that one? Dupayage.
Willie Stone. Sorry, Liz. Dupayage, Wenge,
and
Ono. You can probably correct me, but they're all beautiful. We're all lovers of alpacas, and we'd like to have our own someday. That would be nice. We've gone to a farm up here as well. But that's pretty much all for my, other than what I showed you with my whips, stuff that I've added. This brings us to our latest new to you, which we were hoping we would enjoy, and that I believe, I can't speak for her, but I thoroughly enjoyed. And and look forward to learning more about and getting better at.
We're not very good at it.
We aren't very good at it yet. You can let us know what you think. But we dyed some yarn last night. And hopefully, when I go ahead and add this at the end, as we're going out, I'm going to try to throw some pictures up there. And some of those pictures will be of us dyeing yarn last night. And you see me in my apron and my mask and my gloves and everything. And, but it was a lot of fun. Who knows down the road? Maybe we'll sell some yarn. We'll see. Right now, it's not in our near future plans, but we definitely will do it for ourselves. And
We're both
use
self-employed.
we are both self-employed. As a pastor, I'm self-employed, and she's self-employed. So, and our schedules are pretty much in our own control. So who knows? We'll see. So we're going to go ahead and share those, and then we're going to finish out here for tonight because we are going long. And I apologize, but as I said, after today's, they should be around 40 minutes long, roughly, give or take. We are talkers. I'm sorry. Hopefully, this is something that you can turn on and just do other stuff.
Put me on mute when I call.
We have. Every night when they call, because she just talks.
There's so many stories.
So, and she would not let us talk at all. So we would just put the phone on mute and listen. And then when she was done, we'd take it off and talk to her. But we didn't let her know that for a while. So, do you want to do yours first and then I'll do mine?
Sure.
All right, you do yours first.
Okay.
We got these from Dyer Supplier.
wait,
There was
no,
a special, so we ordered all of our yarn from Dyer Supplier, which is like a company of knit crate. And I ordered 5 skeins, she ordered 5 skeins, and we ordered a bunch of different dyes.
I had Ben help me name these. The first one I did, we're naming Peach Pit. This one I tried speckling. This one was going to be just white and then red and brown speckles, but it sort of turned to orange. I really like it. I like how all of them turned out. They just weren't what I intended. But this one's Peach Pit. It's sock yarn.
I think only one of mine came close to what I intended. The rest,
none of mine did. Well,
we're
this
not even
one.
close. But we're pleasantly pleased with what we did, and we will make stuff out of them, and it's awesome.
This is my other sock yarn. I named this one "Where Are You, Christmas?" because my idea for this one was a silver gray base, and then had that red and green speckles, and it did not come out that way. There's like turquoise in it, and I don't know where, like right there.
Because she didn't put any blue in it.
But
at
I mean,
all, so.
I really like it.
Yeah.
It'll look really cute.
It
Nice
will.
dark green there. That's "Where Are You, Christmas?"
Mhm.
Those are my socks. The rest are DK. This one, I didn't really have a ton of an idea going into what I wanted, but then I started and I dyed this one first. This one I'm calling Space. It's a little more turquoisey in person. It's blue on there. It's turquoisey. And then it has some speckles, but because it was so dark, there's some blue and some red speckles in there. Kind of nice speckles. A little bit. Anyway. And then I did this one, which is turquoise and purple and white, which I really like. And then my plan was to do my third skein of DK as the purple and sort of do like a fade-ish type deal. But I named this one Mermaid Lagoon. It's a little bit like the Little Mermaid. But then this is how the purple came out. It's a little more red, which I really like. I mean, there's
Well, it's closer than one of the ones I played.
well, so there's blue in there because we didn't have a purple, so this one was red and blue, so I just need more blue. But so there's just blue in there. But these ones I really like together. So Ben helped me name these ones, and this one is Space, and this one is Jam. So it's Space Jam.
What's the one that Alyssa wants to make one? What was it called? Peanut butter or
Crunchy peanut butter.
crunchy peanut butter? So in the near future, I'm going to make one that's called crunchy peanut butter for Alyssa, my other daughter.
Those are all mine.
So I have 3 sock and 2 DK, and I'm gonna leave those second. I'm gonna do my 2 DK because they're the same. These were going to be because I have tons of ideas for a series of different colorways inspired by scripture and people of the Bible, trying to bring in my calling as a pastor. And so this originally was supposed to be creation, and it was supposed to fade from a dark brown to like an emerald green, which you do see in there, to a sea blue. trying to just touch on some of the different stages of creation, and it didn't quite do that.
He forgot the citric acid.
I forgot citric acid in the beginning, and we added it a little bit later, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But these have turned into what I like to call Emerald Isle, because of the greens and the brown, and just kind of an homage to the Emerald Isles. Benjamin does like his Irish heritage, so maybe I'll make something for him out of those.
A hat. He likes his hat that he made.
Do not tell Benjamin this, but I am very
time.
fond of Benjamin. You'll find out maybe in other episodes that I did have a son we lost as a baby, and so I didn't have the opportunity to have my own son. So it's nice having a young gentleman around the house to kind of be in that, fill that space. So don't cry.
I'm not gonna cry. I knew that.
All right, I'm leaving the fun one to the end. Now, this one is probably the closest that I got to what I wanted to do. And one of my colorways that I have a lot of stuff in my head. It doesn't always translate to what I do because I'm not good at some things. But this one is as close as I could come to what I like to call Noah. And you can see the browns, and I wanted much darker browns than that were there. To kind of be the ark, and then the blues, and then white to be the water. And so I'm not giving up on this one. I'm going to keep trying on this one because I really like it, and I think it's going to make some nice socks. Yeah. This next one is probably my biggest blunder. So when I ordered dye from Dyer Supplier, I like a lot of earth tones. I like browns. I like, the warmer reds, like, burgundy and forest green, and the darker blues. I like all those really warmer colors. So I got one called russet. Now, when I see russet, as in the word russet, I think potato. And potato, I think brown. So, and I didn't want to use my dark brown because I actually was going to do some speckling afterwards. So I wanted to use my darker brown to speckle. And so I put the dye in, and I put the yarn in, and I covered it up. And when it came out,
the dye is red.
I got red.
If you look at the powder, it's red.
I got red. And which I don't mind. This looks nice. Okay, and it will be used. I'm not going to waste yarn because I'm a lover of yarn, but it's not brown. And I did 2 skeins at the same time, and this one I speckled with darker brown. And actually, I don't think I did too bad with my speckling. But these I am calling, hey, you're supposed to be brown. So that's that color. Hey, you're supposed to be brown. Probably not something that I'll do in the future and try to sell, but I will try to make some socks out of these.
I don't think I could recreate any of these.
Probably not, which is okay. I really do. I really like this one. I do like Noah quite a bit. So, and since you like it, maybe I'll make socks out of it for you. We'll see. You probably won't get them until Christmas, socks. But that was our wedding present.
I want a quilt.
Your wedding is before the Christmas. Before Christmas. So that is our first venture into yarn dyeing, but will not be our last because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to learn more. Just some of the dyers out there are incredible. Dragon Hoard, Wicked Knittah. What are some other ones that we like looking at on Instagram? Lolo Bean. All those, the dark colors that they just, and the definition, and I just want to learn more and be able to do some more with that. So that is something that is definitely going to be part of our repertoire in the future, and that we're going to share and maybe sell eventually. That is about it from the beef of the podcast. Again, we won't be as long in the future because we won't have all of the intro stuff. We won't have our fiber stories. We won't have why we're doing this. We'll have all of the normal stuff. But this brings us to our ending. And as I said before, I'm a pastor, and we both are musicians by formal training. And again, this is our passion, but music is in our blood. And every Sunday, I am blessed to be able to sing and perform with my daughter in church. And we've been doing... And Ben, yes. And Ben joins in too. Ben is very talented.
We'll see him eventually.
We'll add him in the music sometime. I don't think he's going to want to be a part of this part, but he will jump in and do some singing, some playing on the guitar and stuff. But we can't do something like this without adding that part of us in it, because that's who we are. And I've been able to do this with my daughter since she was in 2nd grade. We started with her in the choir loft on a stool in 2nd grade, and from there on it's just grown. And
You've always been short.
she's always been short. I'm not that tall either, but I'd say I'm average. But
Sure.
she's short. But we get to do this every Sunday, and we want to share that with you. Now, I do want to put this disclaimer. The music that we do share is of a faith base, and it's all different types. It's contemporary, it's traditional, it's going to be all different types. But if this is something that you are interested in, this would be a time that you just go ahead and turn it off. But we encourage you to go ahead and listen. We hope that the music inspires you in some way. We hope that if you're going through something right now, that it is a song that will speak to you and will help you to get through that. And please enjoy a song that we're sharing from Elevation Worship called Yahweh.
Spirit of Jesus, living within us, never to fail or forsake, unending promise, heaven inside us, whispers the sound of filled with your wonder, here I surrender, held in your mystery of grace, calling me closer, waking desire, coming alive in your name. Is the Lord worthy to be praised? Fire rising in my soul, all-consuming flame. He who was and is to come is the one who lives in us, the great I am, Yahweh. He who was and is to come is the one who lives in us, great I am. consuming flame, Yahweh.
Thank you for listening to us. We hope you enjoyed that song. We hope you enjoyed joining us in something that we're very passionate about. We hope that you continue to come and listen to us once a month, usually about this time, the third-ish Wednesday of the month. We're recording this on Monday, but it'll go up on a Wednesday. Please, if you like what you hear, give us that thumbs up. And please, anybody who is in this community knows the more people that subscribe, the more that we can do to share. So please subscribe, share with others. And if you want to contact us, we don't have a podcast Instagram account yet. We will in the near future. But if you want to contact either of us, the top one is Kaylee. That's Cats and Crafts 5812. And I'm the bottom one, Crochet Guido. I'm Italian. And I crochet. Come on, Crochet Guido. So, Cats and Crafts 5812.
I ran out of room.
Crochet Guido. Both of those you can go ahead and contact either one of us on Instagram. You can also see what we're doing. We'll throw up what's coming soon. And we hopefully, by the next time that we get together, you'll get to see, we'll have our own Instagram account for A Stitch and a Prayer. And we're
You
hoping.
get to see my cats on this one. I get
She's
two.
she's a lover of cats. We hope to have a Etsy account in the next few months with bags and stitch markers and some other crafty stuff. My wife enjoys doing the DIY crafts, so we're going to do that stuff for her as well. What you don't see is we're in our studio.
Was my bedroom.
Was her bedroom. And if you didn't see all the junk, the walls and stuff are fluorescent green and black from her goth stage. So, but this side of the room is my side with my sewing stuff, my yarn and fabric.
I was 13.
She was 13. And that side is her side. But thank you again. Remember, thumbs up, subscribe, talk to us on Instagram. We hope that as your week and your month goes on till we come together again, you take each moment with a stitch and a
Prayer.